Hello, welcome to Honest Wargamewear. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to Age of Sigmar Mondays. That's right, coming at you from the side, from the front, from the upside down. I'm joined today by Nathan, the Gargant Prescott.
Hello. What's
Oh.
that all about?
Well, I don't know. What is your fucking lime jumper about is the real question. Dan the man...
Cover up my nipples, or did you want to see them?
I do not want to see your nipples, but... Maybe, well, I mean... I do, actually. I've changed my mind. I flip-flopped. I want to see them, but not right now. Dan, who I will always stand for. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm good. I'm rested, ready, and I'm obviously prepared for the intense and hardline questions that we're going to face today.
We are. It is a live Q&A. And James, some people will say that you are James-verous. No, I had nothing. I went into it with nothing, and then I came out nowhere. James, how are you? You well?
Yeah, not bad. Very well. How are you, Robert?
Thanks for asking. Appreciate that. No one ever does. I'm fine. Thanks.
That's because you lie all the time. You're not fine. You're not fucking fine. You've got to be the honest wargamer. Tell us the truth.
All right.
Okay, wait.
All right. I'll tell you the truth. I did my very first hot pot yesterday, like a slow cooked. I did loads of vegetables. I think I put too much I bought loads of fucking herbs, and I didn't really know what herbs you're meant to use. So just put one lot of herbs in that smelt the nicest.
Hang on,
it tasted...
One lot of herbs is how many herbs? Like a whole pot?
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so
were they fresh or dried?
Dried.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
This is. One time I took a girl on a date. Well, I didn't take her on a date. She came around to my house for dinner, and I'd never hung out with anyone fancy before. So I did a salad, like a side salad, but I used vinaigrette sauce. But I didn't know, it was like a dip-on situation. I thought it was like a one-serve thing. So just bashed the whole lot on. It kind of, the leaves were floating around. And my point is, more directions on...
You made a salad soup. Nice. Good job.
Rob, did you possibly just put in a bag of potpourri? You're like, these are herbs. They smell nice. In you go.
They smell the nicest.
Sorry again. Is asked you a question in the chat, Rob?
I haven't gone fancy. One lot of herbs. I've meal prepped this week, is all I can really tell you, in my slow cooker, and I'm very happy about it. I've got some meals that kind of taste like watery vegetables. Maybe one day I'll learn how to make them taste like anything else, but there aren't many other ingredients in there. Whatever.
Vegetables and herbs.
Yeah. But what else do you need?
What herbs did you use? I'm intrigued.
I forget at this point. I'm going to say oregano.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a strong herb.
That's nice. If you used in tomatoes, did you have any tomatoes in there?
Why is this what we're talking about? Yes, I had some tomatoes.
The Age of Sigmar alternative show where we talk about things that don't relate to Age of Sigmar because no one's played in a year.
Did you put it in your pants?
I did not put any of it in my pants. I did not use 5 spice. I can't fry them up first because I haven't got gas. But I do now have windows, so everything's going my way. Nathan, did you see my DIY work? It was excellent. Dan, I'll send you a picture later. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Is this your window? You have a window now?
I'll send you a picture.
You don't want to see the window.
Wow. He's got less of a window than what he started with. Put it that way.
I just want to know that 4 walls, shelter is a basic human necessity, and I'd love to know that you have that.
All right, Dan. Listen. I've WhatsApped you. Live react to my window fixing because I think it's excellent.
Oh my god.
Twitch chat. I'm not going to show you, but it's great. Right. Okay. Can we talk Age of Sigmar at some point? But Dan, just have a look at it.
My favourite thing is that if someone joined this this intro bit,
if this was their first ever Twitch show, would anybody like that around?
Your window literally looks like someone broke in and then tried to turn the house into a crack den, but didn't want anybody else following them in, and just used the discarded tools from the workmen that had given up on the house 6 years ago to fill the gap.
At least it's not made out of syringes.
I was actually really proud of that.
Is it made of cardboard?
No, I just use that as support. You know when you're when you're building any terrain project, sometimes you put a bit of cardboard on there to hold it up while it sets in place. That's all.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Right. And you promised me the cardboard isn't actually covering a gap.
No, it is, but so is the foam. It's a whole thing. There's a lot of science in there.
Bearing in mind foam and window.
Yeah, Vangelis in the chat. Yeah, Vangelis in the chat gets it. It's supported structurally with cardboard, flawless. Yeah,
It's a good job. There's no rain in the UK.
it's on the inside. You're all
That's
twats.
another thing he's missing, the floor, is it?
No, we got all the floor. All right, okay, cool.
You
Let's
said
move
flawless.
Someone asked if you 3D printed a window. If you could 3D printed a window, it'd be better.
That would have been a good move, yeah.
God,
You could have just used your sprues and glued them together. It would have made a better window.
Can we talk about Age of Sigmar at some point, please? Right, okay, Dan, I'm going to go to you. You seem the most on it. Have you done any Age of Sigmaring this week, sir?
I have. Those who were listening last week, I toed and I froed, and I tossed and I turned, deciding which number of legs to go with my Gargant. I couldn't decide between 4 or 2, and so I decided on both. And I kind of made it a bit, for those who are familiar with Half-Life 2, my Mega Gargant, my Robo Mega Gargant for my Greywater Fastness list is he's on 2 little legs and then built up quite big, and then has 2 big hunched over forward arms that he can run on, but he can always punch you with. So if you've seen Dog in Half-Life 2, which is not a dog, it's a robo dog, it's in a similar structural limb design to that. And so that's what I've gone with. That's how I decided, because that way I feel like it has the legs and necessary limbs to toe punt an objective out of the way, but also it's not just on 2 legs, which is just basic. So many things rock around on 2 legs. I'm removing 2-legged walking from my day-to-day. I'm going to be moving on 4 legs from now on because I think it's more interesting.
I agree. That sounds very, very cool. Where are we going to see pictures? Are you going to reveal it in a kind of like grandiose reveal, maybe with like party poppers?
Very grandiose. The only thing I've realized is that I like so much. I take photos of conversions that I've been doing along the way, and then by the time that they're all done and I'm happy with them, it's like, oh yeah, cool. Like I've seen them, like stage by stage by stage. And so for me, there's not much pageantry to it. So it's like with my Greywater or with my elves, I'm trying to take my time with it so I can kind of reveal the whole army at once, rather than like little piecemeal. Maybe I'll drip feed little bits and pieces now and then, but I'm keeping close.
Just as a thought, Dan, maybe what you could do is take like an extreme close-up of one tiny bit of the model, and then 9 months later reveal what it was.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I feel like you're onto something. Has anyone ever shared this with retail? Because
maybe 3 years on. Either or.
I'd be down for that. Well, I want to see it is kind of like where I'm at, so I'm very excited to see that personally. And I guess that really relates us. That could bring us into the story of the Gargants. In that you are making yourself a Gargant, which is obviously excellent. But we've discovered today, Nathan, I'm going to need your thoughts on this. You've seen the price of the Gargants. You could say it's quite a large price increase from what we expected. You could say giant amount of money you'll need to buy it. It's big money.
Yeah, you're going to have to dig around in your pants for all of your loose change.
All of it, yeah. It's pretty pricey. Like, how do you feel about
that? A little bit poorer than I was at the beginning of the day, I guess.
I mean, obviously, like it would always be fun if they're a tenner. But has anyone in the chat and you three got any thoughts on the price?
There's probably going to be a giant hole in my life.
Nice.
Where I don't have a giant.
Oh, what?
I didn't buy one. No, I might still get one, but I doubt I'll get more than very many.
You doubt you'll do the army?
Yeah. I need to see whether I can take them with my gets, really. Or my jaws. Or what the story is.
Yeah, they're pretty pricey. Dan, James, you got any thoughts on the price of them?
I think for me, like it's that scary thing, isn't it? Because what you're paying for is 3 models and 1 body and 1 set of legs.
Yes.
So I think for me, like, it's that interesting thing, isn't it? You know, like when you buy, so if you buy a box of, I'm trying to think of a good example, long strikes, Stormcast long strikes, you can build the rapid fire bows or you can build the long strike bows. And I think for me, like that's what you end up with is a few bows left over. I think that's it. Whereas I imagine in this kit, what you're going to end up with is probably 2 or 3 sprues worth of plastic that aren't worth anything. No one's ever going to want them, but you're paying for them.
I don't think you're paying for them. Like, truth be told, I think the sprues are literally pennies, truthfully. I don't know. Dan, what are your thoughts on the price? Obviously, I feel very sorry for your Australian brothers and sisters who already they start at a pretty significant price increase anyway, and now this starts even higher, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's going to be tough. I would say Canada as well are going to get rolled by this. I've noticed that Canada is not necessarily the most cost effective place to get it either. But I'd say I have 2 things to go with it. First of all, yeah, hella expensive, but also the size of them. These are going to be centerpiece models, and I think if you go back, models this big would be Forge World, like previously, before they started building in this size. I'm just looking at them now. So there is a part of me that's kind of okay with that. It's almost prohibitively expensive, which I think is the shame. If they were a bit cheaper, everyone would get it. Because they're not, it probably just won't be. Though the other thing I love, and I know that this might not be as exciting to everybody else, look at those knees. Look at the detail in the knees. They look like knees. Whoever sculpted this thing, the hands, the knees, good job. Like I'm looking at wrinkles. I'm looking at detail. If you go to the Warhammer community page right now, you can see the Gargants and then scroll down to the old school Gargants. Look at those knees on the old school ones. That doesn't look like a people knee. Then look at the Mega Gargant. My goodness, that is a hairless people knee. I'm a little bit concerned that they have, like, literally, by the looks of things, neck down alopecia. But I'm stoked with the level of detail in the skin. That's really hard work. The bit that's hurt me the most, though, is that they released the barrel dice for Realm Lords. Mm-hmm. The dice that are literally terrifying because they could just
preach it. I'm about to preach it. Go for it. Yeah, let's go.
Well, okay. They released dice that could roll and demolish an army. And for the Realm Lords, when they should have had these lovely, efficient, like, where did those barrel dice say Realm of Light or Elves? They should have been on, like Legolas little floaty cloud things. Then I see these bad boys, and I'm like, just give a handful of barrel dice to this. This would be the army to roll your dice and demolish your opponent's army with it physically, and then look him in the eye and be like, well, what did you expect? Like, that's just that's Sons of Bahamut. That's how we do it. Why would you go to all the trouble of making this army and not give these guys some amazing, unnecessary dice?
Well,
it's
the
true.
dice I was expecting... Oh, Nathan, go on after you. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, what they're expecting you to do is every time your opponent rolls their dice, you quickly grab their dice before they can see what the numbers are, and you put them in your pants. And then tell them, if they want to know what they rolled, they know where they've got to go.
I would like to see the face of the TO when he gets called over, and he's like, "Could you have a word with Nathan, please?" Like, why? He's like, he took all my dice and put them in his pants, and he won't give them back. And the TO just be like, "You're gonna have to deal with that, mate."
Back? Do you really want them back? No.
Is this what you want? So yeah, that's it's pretty wild. Let's be honest, pretty wild. Dan, I agree with you. I am gutted that we haven't seen giant dice.
There's still time.
No, I don't think we're going to see them. They'd come out with a book. The whole release is the book, one box, and a subsidiary box with 3 Gargants in as well. I think, or is it 2 Gargants?
2, I think.
2. And don't you need 3 for minimum unit battle line?
Yeah. So now you get 4.
What a bunch of wankers they are, aren't they?
You can't buy them singly anymore. You can buy them in 2s. 3's what you want, but you can have a spare.
So you need to buy 3 boxes to get 2 minimum battle line units.
No,
Well,
two,
you buy two
boxes.
boxes and you get your battle line, but instead of just buying 3, so I think they were 50 quid each, right? About.
Yeah.
And
no,
now
they were
they're-
less. They were less, I think. I think there was a box out previously with 2 Gargants in.
Yeah, I own that. It was
and-
about 40 odd quid, I think.
And now it's just the same, but £75.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nuts. Okay, I haven't asked how everyone is, so I'm going to go through that process in a minute. Hello, everyone in the Twitch chat. Vangelis, Big Goldfish, Wargaming Dad, what up? Morheen, thank you very much for being here as well. Owen Jackson, what up? Owen and me were on the show earlier discussing tournament results if you want to go back and listen to that. Moorhen, also thank you for subscribing. That's lovely of you. Good evening, Scrunty. Nathan, how are you? What's going on?
I'm okay, thank you. Just been super busy with work, so just that's about it. I've got no real Warhammer to report from last week. Still painting this young lady.
Oh, the
And then
hag.
yeah. And but this week I've got a tournament at the weekend. I think there's a 1-day. It's still going ahead as far as I'm aware. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to running some gits, I think, for
Where
that.
is
In
it
fact,
at?
I need to. It's at the Black Dragon Miniatures.
Oh yeah,
in
over in that way.
Hinkley. Yes. So yeah, cool. In fact, I think lists are due in on Wednesday, so I better write a list quickly and send that over.
What is going to be in your list? I think everyone wants to know.
It's going to be some gits. I haven't quite decided which list to take yet. Possibly the list that I took to Brotherhood, because I think that was quite a good list. I can't really. The other option is I've got quite a fun MSU list with loads of units of gits and loads of support characters, and then some squigs as well to support them. Well, just to get stuck in. So that's quite cool. Or even there is the chance that I might just take a Jaws of Mork list as well, similar to the one that I played against yourself the other day. So that's the problem, is there's not enough tournaments to have to play all the lists that you want to play. So
I agree with that. They're quite rare, aren't they? So it's a nice little small one. It's a very small little place. I've been there before, actually. It's quite nice. Just a little side note: if you end up finishing one of your games early, just across the high street and down the road is a paranormal research centre. They've got a cursed mirror. I think they have some items which may be trans-dimensional. You have to but so if you just get 5 minutes, Nathan, it might be worth going to that.
yeah, go to another dimension. That would be great.
I don't think you can go to you can just visit things that have maybe been trans-dimensionally relocated, if you, of course, are psychically sensitive enough to sense this. This is
see, that sounds like the problem there, right?
That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I'm psychically sensitive
to transdimensionality.
Yeah.
That's useful. When's that coming useful for you before?
I don't know. I don't think it's that useful, but if you say so, yeah, sure.
Well, I'm excited to hear about. So next Monday is going to be a bit of a bumper show, because next Monday we end up with Gargant book review. Yeah. Because it goes on pre-order this weekend, which means man who reads book will read book, which means we'll know all the rules. It's the first ban phase again, back for the Super Series. That's really exciting. And we're going to get to find out about Nathan's tournament results. So generally, just like a tip-top next Monday. James, what Warhammer you been up to? How you been?
Yeah, been pretty good. I'm not even going to lie, I haven't done much Warhammer this week. I've done some bits and pieces, some nattering, but not a huge amount. I'm never going to be able to show you these, I don't think, because I think they'll ruin going to my background. But now look, so they just become a background. But I have printed, I've been building a teeny tiny rat army just for kicks. And they all needed rebasing. So I have printed so far 60 clan rat bases.
Wow. Well, that's pretty impressive.
But they're
Alright.
kind of cool. So they're all printed, so you're not going to be able to see them. Maybe I'll post a picture later because it's not going to work. So they're all the downstairs of a tavern. So,
The downstairs of a tavern. Oh.
yeah, they're downstairs
Yeah.
of a tavern. So my aim is, if you've ever played a MMORPG, they're going to be the rat army that you go to clear out of a basement. So I've printed hundreds of tiny little tavern bases for them. So
That's fun.
That's
That's
about
fun.
all I've worked on, really. And I did so I printed some. I did some test painting of the ones that I test printed. Then I thought I could get the detail better, so I played with the prints a bit. So like the bases are like a floor, and then there's like a knife and a smashed wine bottle and bits like that on them. So I was just trying to get the print right mostly. So I've done that. I think that's it really. I painted some Lumineth. I did the test paint on my first Sentinel.
Ooh.
Yeah, so actually I've probably done more than I thought.
Sounds like you've done a lot. You've designed the theme of your Skaven army and painted up some of your Lumineth Realm Lords. That's a pretty impressive feat, right?
Yeah, so that wasn't too bad. So yeah, so I think I've probably worked on that. And we haven't asked you, Robert, and I've seen that you are painting a jet bike.
It was just because it was to hand and it was quite close. But yeah, I played loads of what I played
That's
loads
the
of what.
same thing.
Yeah. I played loads of Warhammer this week, which has been really fun. Played quite a bit of 40k.
Oh,
Played
cool.
some Age of Sigmar as well. So that's been super fun. We've just been, and then in the background, I've just been obviously doing the shows, but of course, organising some of the Super Series stuff that we've got going off over the next few weeks. So just doing some tech stuff. If you guys tuned into the show today, you'll see some of the cool stats stuff that I did. Big shout out to Ziggy and the stats team, trying to just organise some stuff. We looked at one of the Carriage and Overlords lists that played at Owen's TTS event earlier. It has 169 shots around. Like now that's like a large portion of them, like 111 shots, ended up being like in the 0 to 12 inch kind of like range. But it's still nuts to hear that, right? Like from ranged output versus the Slave to Darkness list, which was a Knights of the Empty Throne list, which had 0 shooting. Like not one, not even like the shout that you get on a Maw Crusher. It's like, how much shooting you got? I've got this one big shout. None of that. So that was
but how many melee attacks did the Slaves to Darkness list have? Is that where the stats are going to go?
Yeah, we then realised we hadn't done that. So
okay.
So it's all testing to work out some stuff, so that when we do the Super Series, hopefully we end up with some cool stats and stuff to show.
Yeah,
people.
sounds like interesting numbers. Who's playing next week? Who's doing who are the two teams?
It is WS10 versus the Dragon Slayers.
Cool.
So it's going to be pretty fun. There's a lot of goodwill amongst those two teams. They are both well known, big clubs supporting them as well. Both the Dragon Slayers and WS10 are big clubs from different areas. One's Wednesbury, one obviously is Sheffield. Pretty storied places for games with some big. So they should have some big crowd support, which will be really fun. And they've got some good teams. So there's some pretty famous players playing. Andy Hughes, he's going to be in there. You can't shake a stick at that fella. Part of Team Wales. Obviously, AD Mac. Oldest man in Warhammer is playing as well. Nick Thompson. I think a lot of people will be excited to see Nick Thompson play on the stream. I think one of the last time Nick played on the stream, he won an entire event with Squigs and got best sports vote and stuff. I don't know if he's been on the stream since then, but some pretty big dudes.
Can we just stop?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Because you just did 2 geographical locations and got them right first time.
I know.
Gosh.
Thank you.
You can continue. I literally, as that came through, I was like, holy cow.
I mean, they're not the hardest places to learn. Like someone,
but I'm still impressed.
Thanks. I appreciate that. That's so Twitch chat. Let me know who you think is going to win it. And we've asked everyone. Everyone's done it. Oh, I've also painted up my Skaven Gnaw-holes, and I've been green stuffing together some rattling guns. Thank you to Sorry again in the chat who has helped me build some rattling guns up. I am obviously going for the perfect 13 rattling guns.
Good, appropriate. Yeah.
Good. Did your game in the week, was that with the Skaven? Were you using your Skaven?
Was with the Skaven, and I lost again. But that's because I didn't change up my list at all, and I still didn't take my gnaw holes over to the venue. So one day I'll start using the gnaw holes as well, and I think that'll really change up my game. That's
What army were you playing against?
Finch.
Sinch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think running a key piece of your army that you get for free is going to change up your gameplay style when you remember to use them.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm pretty certain I could play with Seraphon without the Ziggurat and Smash Face consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the gnaw holes are much better than the ziggurat.
Mhm.
Yes, much better.
What does the ziggurat even do? I don't know.
Oh, okay. So
It
you
hurts
can
people sometimes.
so the Realm Shaper engine, which is what you're talking about, can be garrisoned. That's right. And if you garrison it, it's the same rules as garrisoning. The fun bit is they've never said you can't garrison a monster. So if you really want to put like a Troglodon inside and then measure Croak from do spells from Croak through the Troglodon who's in the Ziggurat, it's completely okay. No dramas there. That's completely fine. You could also put a Bastillodon in there if you wanted, make him -1 to hit. And of course, you can use that base to measure from for shooting as well. So some real good things. You can also activate it to do some mortal wounds into the opponent's like terrain or something, but no one cares. No one cares. Yeah. Have you guys ever played against the Ziggurat yet? The Ziggurat?
I don't think so, no.
No.
Have I've played against Seraphon. The Ziggurat didn't do anything.
They don't
because
even bring the ziggurat sometimes, do they? Most of the time.
No, some people are anti the Ziggurat in case their opponent gets to garrison, but some people just roll with the punches and are like, whatever, I'll put it down and hopefully I get it.
Wait, does that mean that you could garrison an ironclad that has a unit garrisoned in it inside the Ziggurat?
See, it's a great question. It's a great question.
You know what you could do?
It has come up before. Yeah.
I think you
What,
could
James?
tweet Games Workshop and see what they say. Or in fact, how many people are in the chat?
All of us
lot.
could tweet. Yeah, all of us-
Everyone should tweet Games Workshop and just ask them that exact question. Like copy and paste it. Someone put it in the chat. Everyone copy and paste it, and let's ask that question.
Well, go on,
But
go
then
on,
here's the question that goes on top of that, right? Then
Inside
if you inside of it, because it does go inside of it. If you had a cities list with a Shadowblade Assassin, it could be deployed inside the unit that's inside the boat that's inside the Ziggurat. That's if I remember Inception correctly, that's Limbo.
Yeah, so the way that Swaggy Shadow Sword has got it correct. There is a wound limit. There is a wound limit on the number of just basically the number of wounds that can be garrisoned inside it. And even though the models are inside a terrain feature, there is the terrain feature, like the models aren't considered off the board. So when you're in a garrison, you're not also off the board. So you can target inside the terrain feature. Listen, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you can put a monster in there, and that's the fun bit. If anyone's interested, some people don't think it's fun. That's what I've got to say. The Gargants won't be able to fit inside it, will they? Because they're 35 wounds. 35 wounds. How do you guys feel about that?
I don't know if it's enough. Because you're only getting 3, right? So until you see the entire rules, what they do, and how they operate, because they also what do we know what size base they're on yet?
Very large, I imagine.
Yeah, because if they're on the biggest base going, then that's a lot. That's 40 skinks fighting twice, shooting twice. Gargant's dead.
Well, actually, maths-wise, it's actually 80 skinks versus 1 Gargant.
What, to kill it?
Yeah. No, not to kill it. Just points-wise for 1.
Oh.
So you get 1 Gargant.
Doomed.
Yeah, you get 1 Gargant for 35 wounds with a 4-up save versus 2 blocks of 40 skinks, which is 80 wounds, but only with a 5-up save. So it's not like not really comparable. I guess the really fair thing to compare the Gargants to is going to be to compare them to Alarielle, because really it's not how good are they going to be, it's are they the worst in the game. That's kind of the sliding scale. It's like,
Are we saying Alarielle's the worst in the game?
the very worst.
Is she worse than the Tree Lord?
Yeah, you could summon a free True Lord. Don't.
Yeah.
I mean, of the large models.
Okay,
Is what
the
I'm trying to
large
get at.
models.
Of
Okay.
the large models. But it really, how many wounds is the Corn Dragon? Because now, if I was owning a Corn Dragon for 1,200 points, or 1,100 or whatever it is now, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, wait, a Gargant's 35 wounds, but I'm only 30 wounds, I think? Does anyone know? So, Tree Lord's rules, says Chris in the chat. No one thinks that. I don't think. So, how do you guys feel about that 35 wounds? Because I don't feel it's very survivable.
Well, okay, so Fulgrima's asked in the chat, so we shouldn't buy Gargants. If you have the money to afford it and you're looking for like the fun of it, absolutely you should buy them. Absolutely, because they are beautiful models. They're incredible. Their whole like pants play style is going to be fun. However, if you're like going hardcore competitive, if you ask me what would you rather, 2 units of 40 skinks or 1 Mega Gargant, in a game, and I could choose whatever I took, 2 units of 40 skinks every single time.
How many wounds is a Mega Gargant?
35 wounds.
Corn Dragon's 30.
And it's 1,100 points! Oh,
Do you know?
dear.
Do you know probably why?
Why?
Because he's in corn.
Uh,
I'll leave that there.
This is why Dayton's coming for you, I think.
Yeah, probably.
That's wait, Dreadsaurian's 55 wounds, James, apparently.
No. Since when?
That's what
A
someone in the chat
Dreadsaurian?
said. No, not a
It wa-
Dreadsaurian. Okay, well, Nath, you've brought up a really good example. So the Dreadsaurian in Seraphon, is the same wounds as a Mega Gargant, right? Roughly. So, but the same price point, and you rarely see the Dreadsaurian, right? That's the thing that you rarely see.
35 wounds. Yes. Oh.
Wait, it's 55 or 35 wounds.
35 wounds.
Oh, what for the Corn Dragon?
Dreadsaurian. Corn Dragon's 30. Dreadsaurian's 35.
Okay, all right. So there's obviously some differential there. My question is Dan, Nathan, do you think that they're going to be survivable, or do you think it's not really an issue? It's just about the fun of it.
Oh, I think they're just going to be there. I think they're, like Dan's been saying, they're there as a fun army. I don't think people are going to find them to be a competitive choice. I think they'll be fun. I think they'll have a few tricks up their sleeves or in their pants or whatever, but I don't expect them to be S tier or not even A tier, really. But hopefully they'll still give people a scare every now and again. They'll probably have some lists that they'll be really good against, but then they'll have quite a few lists that they're probably weaker against.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think-
Daniel, go on, James. After you.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that the crazy thing is, isn't it? Like, so for me, like, I'll always quite openly admit that I'm not hugely ever that competitive with my list writing, but I always think if I go to an event, so even when I went to Bobo and I took Bretonia, the whole aim was that it went 5 turns. Like, if it needed to, I could play a game for 5 turns with someone because then we both got enjoyment out of it. So even if I wasn't winning because I didn't think it was going to win, I could play someone at the game.
What, you mean it ran away fast enough to stay alive for 5 turns?
Whoa! It charged into combat and never retreated because I'd set it all up that way. So my concern, I think the sad point will be, is if they literally just, like, if they just get shot off the board before they get to do anything, and you've brought, like, if you've put that money into that army, because it whatever happens, it's gonna look cool. Like, it's gonna look cool. It hopefully will have some, like, fun, jokey, bit of a laugh rules. I don't think it's an army you're gonna take if you want to be super competitive, but you still want to play the game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. I mean, someone today said to me, if it goes 3-2 at an event, then that's great. And I was like, okay, that's fair enough. It's a hard army to balance. A bunch of big dudes in a game where having lots of little dudes to score objectives is a strong thing. I'd like to see some special rules where they could just pick up objectives and put them down their pants. Obviously, that's the right decision.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Instead of kicking them, they're like, dibs. And then you're like, wait, what are you doing? It's like, I'm taking this.
They,
It's like,
they just score 1 point for the rest of the game.
but I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, if these objectives are such important things, I understand why you need troops to secure it because we're going to come and do stuff later. Whereas Mega Gargants, if they're that big, they're just like, yeah, gigantic hunk of crashed meteorite. This is about the size of the stools that I take. So there we go. And back in the pants, that's where you live. Like, it makes sense.
Look at this lovely shiny butt plug. And in it goes.
See, I'm really pro that, Dan, and James. I think that's a really great idea. I think being able to control the objectives themselves would be good because that's going to be their weakness fundamentally, and always was. And you would feel like Games Workshop would have thought about that before they released them. However, there is a thing that maybe we need to bring up now to kind of move that conversation along. I guess at this point, do we think Games Workshop are factionalist? I know it's a hot topic. People don't like talking politics on telly. I know, I get it. Yeah? But do you think that they're factionalist? Do you think that there's a reason that they hate destruction players? Do you think, like, a destruction player hurt the rules team at some point? What are your thoughts? Like...
Was it Nathan? Do you know? Is that why we're getting asked a loaded question?
Yeah. There's something
Nathan,
in the background there.
Yeah.
I think the better question, Rob, should just be, Nathan, what did you do?
Yeah. That's the question. What did you do, Nath?
I can't remember. But my pants were full.
Do you think it was netters? Do you think that the netters hurt the rules team in some sort of strong way?
Oh, I don't know. Are you on the rules team?
Oh my God, revelation.
The longest con I've ever pulled.
There we go.
Yeah. Kind of. Only the opposite. So whatever I like is always nerfed and ruined, which that is the sad part. So just thanks to someone reminding me in the chat that I might as well hit due to netters. I appreciate that. Again. For being able to... do you not think that they have an issue with destruction generally? They're just like, nah. I mean, because like OCR's rules were fucked, KO's rules are fucked, Seraphon rules are fucked, Zenith's rules are fucked, and then they're like, do you reckon these Stonehorns will make them okay? Like, we'll make them fine. They're like, what about man-eaters? They're like, nah, fuck them. Yes,
don't sweat it. We're fine.
Could you think of any other reasons why they maybe just hate destruction players? I mean, that's what I'm going to say. I know maybe that's an incendiary statement, but Games Workshop hates destruction players. I'm going to say it.
Maybe the issue is, and we talk about it quite often, that they're aware that destruction players only use pop-up books by choice.
Oh, it's a book-selling issue. Yeah.
And maybe what they think is, if we make their rules really good and complicated, they're never going to get it. So let's just make them shit. Or average.
So you think that basically that they don't sell as many books to destruction players because of the inability to read, and so they don't try as hard with destruction stuff.
Yeah, and they haven't found the right person to audiobook all the rules books for destruction players.
I think he's absolutely right.
That's we've blown a lid on this. We've blown a lid on this. That's what we've done. It's a long con. The real joy of destruction armies is they're always in stock. That's a good con. That's a good con. And you can also pick up a destruction army for super cheap compared to Sons of Behemoth army. And that's the other thing that's interesting about Sons of Behemoth is they're allyable into other armies, which some people are wanting to do, right?
Yeah. I feel like that's maybe their more maybe there's a point where they're just like, we know we'll just sell one. Or
Mm.
maybe that was the price point. Maybe they're like, we think everyone who owns any army will probably buy one because it's a cool model. So let's get as much money as possible.
Fair. I mean,
All
it'll
right,
work on me.
Less people that buy 3, isn't there?
Yes, yeah. I think there's going to be a lot less people that buy 3 or buy all the little mini gargants as well. I think ultimately, but here's hoping that the Battle Tome has some like really solid rules, and I'm excited about reading the narrative. But let's hope that the whole thing isn't just kind of phoned in. It's a 1-week release for them, but I mean it's a significant price increase. A little bit worried about stuff in the future. A little bit worried about like some larger model kits in the future that they're comfortable with this £120 price point now. It's more than the Imperial Knights. It's more than Archeon.
How does it compare to Teclis? Because he was the last sort of big.
He was 105.
Or the cows.
The cows are sub 100. I think.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, but they're quite small comparatively.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Teclis
of course
is
they
small.
are. They're cows. They're little mountain cows. I mean, we're gargants.
Yeah. It's
heaps bigger.
Okay, we can appreciate that now. Yeah, £120 is a bit nuts, to be honest. And obviously, you don't buy it from Games Workshop direct, buy it from a third-party company. And ultimately, they're giants. Like I think someone tweeted to me earlier, like let's be serious about it. It wouldn't be too difficult to find something that is that sort of thing. You know, you could if you found I don't know, giant dinosaurs, or I don't know. I'm just thinking of some stuff, you know.
Well, you could just,
Well,
you could just
I've
buy
been
9.
working at Mercer Miniatures last week, and they've got some really nice giant models there, and other things that you could convert if you were in like Chaos or something like that. So yeah. There's loads of like Dan's doing. He's building himself a big robot dude, Voltron.
It's absurd. With all my conversions, it's going to be cheaper than buying one.
Yeah, you could buy the Prime and a Lariel and bash them together and make one for cheaper.
Yeah, and do a life giant, couldn't you? And I think that's one of the other things as well is not shooting themselves in the foot, but there are people who want to own the models. But if the rules were competent, and you wanted to see a lot of people doing stuff, people will make just big models out of things anyway, right? And you could end up with like a really cool Chaos one, but ultimately it's going to be positive vibage. Yeah. Someone's asked how many sausage and bean melts can you get in the UK for £120? I think it's about 60 sausage and bean melts. So it's been a while. And also they've pushed themselves out of £120 doesn't feel like impulse buy money. Do you know what I mean?
The sausage and bean melts, is that because you're going to grow your own gargant? 160 sausage and bean melts, and then you make your own gargant out of that.
Yeah, that would be great. You could get a decent airbrush for the price of a gargant. For a gargant army, you could get a PlayStation, a new PlayStation, PlayStation 5. So there's they're up against it, I think, to start pushing themselves into a certain category of finance, but whatever.
I love how creative people are getting with their prices for it. You know, like you could buy a PlayStation 5, you could buy this. Like, I really like it when we get to ridiculous comparative prices. Can someone go on Amazon and find the most absurd thing? Just the most ridiculous thing that you could get for the price of a Mega Gargant. Like, you could get 18 live tapeworms. I don't know. Like what can we get? What can we get on Amazon for the price of a Mega Gargant? Go for it, chat. Don't disappoint.
That's what I want. Yeah. And then that become the new metric of how much something is. Like, have you seen these new models they've released? Oh, I can't believe that they're 14 sausage and bean melts. That's outrageous. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to lose some of my sausage and bean melts. Take them down to the store and do a fair exchange.
You can get 380 Freddos if you wanted to, which is pretty nuts.
3 toasters and 5 kettles.
Yeah. You could subscribe to the TSN for 20 months. Like,
there you go.
There you go. That's worth it. 3 GIMP suits. Pretty strong.
Oh, I like that.
And then you could make your own Mega Gargants. If you go, that's great. You could convert those into Mega Gargants.
Chris says you can get yourself a nice Henry Hoover. You'd get a fuck ton of nerds for that. That's good. Yeah, you could do a ceramic crown. I have one on my teeth. Fascinating. That's actually
Someone's selling us their teeth.
No, but
Yeah,
saying you
for a
could get
mega garden.
dental work done.
6,000. Oh, thanks, Mac Readiness. 6,000 eco-friendly Q-tips. I think I do it in P lattes. Obviously, at this stage, that's the only thing that matters to me. So it's actually let me just get this right. It's 40 P lattes from Mega Gargant, and that seems like a deal.
I dig. You know what I'm digging on here? 20 kilograms of wet dog food.
Just what I've always wanted.
A 26-pound giant gummy snake. Oh my gosh.
You ask for the weirdest things.
I'm digging it. I'm so happy with everything I'm looking at.
Right, so Twitch chat, as the show says today, because we've got such a bumper show next week, and we've done the tournament results already today on the show earlier on, and we don't really want to fix any of the factions. We leave that to the Warhammer Weekly fellas. And we already did a really good competitive guide last week, I thought. So I didn't think that we would have to do another competitive guide this week, especially with the dearth, great word, of Warhammer events. So I thought we could do some Q&As. So it's time to get to know the show hosts. It's time to ask any questions that you want. That is today's show. Any questions that you would like, they could be Warhammer related. They cannot be Warhammer related. Any questions that you would like to ask us for your Age of Sigmar Monday show hosts. First question in, straight off the bat, boxers or briefs? And Nathan, I already know the answer. I'll answer for you, don't worry. Boxers that he discovered on a ship that had been sunk in the 1700s. They so dry are those boxers that you can't actually get them wet. Like, Dan, boxers or briefs?
Briefs during the day, boxers at night.
Wow, that is fancy as hell. James?
Always boxers, and hilariously, not going to advertise it, but I just started a boxer subscription service. There's a fact for you.
No.
Yeah.
What's that?
Pay £8 a month, I think it was, and they just send me a pair of boxers every month.
But
What, one pair every month?
Yeah.
How
What are you going to do with so
going
many
through
boxes?
Well, at some point I'm going to have to stop, aren't I?
Yeah.
But
good.
but logically, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're more comfy because they're supposed to be more comfy.
Oh my gosh! Can we please get the? It's a genius chat. Like, intern Matt just said, "Honest Wargamer boxes when." Can we please get a set of boxes made that says "in the pants"?
Oh my god, Dan, that's brilliant. Yeah,
And
in
like-
the pants.
Oh,
Put them in
no.
your pants.
Or it just says "stuff it in me pants."
Yeah.
And then how do we? Who do we? When do we? I want
James,
these. I want
it's specifically
all of-
James. James, we now this is a merch grot situation. Well done. Get to
This
work.
time next year, we're going to be millionaires.
We only sell them in XLs. James, can we genuinely get pants made? That's the question.
Probably.
So,
That
are we
Sounds
announcing
like a
right now?
commitment to me.
It does. James, are we committing to making our own Honest Wargamer Gargant-related pants? Yes or no?
Line of
Yeah, sure. Let's say yes.
Fantastic. And then this follow-up question, obviously, thank you from Romar Winters, lovely to see him in the chat, is how many boxes for the price of a Gargant?
Oh, it's too early to know.
How many months?
Depends if I'm putting Nathan's face on them or not, because then they'll sell like gold, just whatever price I make them.
Oh my god, we would sell so many! So just every Christmas, like so many Age of Sigmar players around the world, like Christmas, and like their wife's like, so I got you the boxes you said. Are you happy? And they're like, I'm the happiest I've ever been. Just like walking around on Christmas Day with their Nathan Prescott Gargant pants.
Think how much better people's sex lives will be when their partners see Nathan's face before it all happens.
Oh my god, none of us are getting laid. Come on.
Poor Nathan.
Oh, okay. Right, good question though. My answer is only boxes, not boxes. Disgusting. Briefs, generally. I don't know what brief is. What's a brief?
Like a Y-front.
Yeah.
Wow, like what's a figure hugger? I like to pack it all in. I like to mash it together like a stew.
Yeah, it's a brief.
I'm really uncomfortable with that.
I just like it to be warm. Is the thing. All right, good question, Twitch chat. Any other questions? James, write that down. James, write that down.
Right, what down? The boxers?
The boxes idea. We can't.
Yes. Well, you don't wear boxers. Why do you want them?
Yeah. What the
I would
fuck,
wear
man?
Nathan Prescott pants all day.
Okay.
All day long. Actually, can we have half a face on the band like the faces period over the boxes?
I like how specific these boxes are getting. There's only going to be 10 people that buy them, and I'll end up with a house full.
You lucky
Pre-orders.
man.
We'll take pre-orders.
Yeah, we will take pre-orders. That'll be fine. Let's see the other Wargamers copy us then. Can't wait to see.
What, you want to see Facehammer boxes?
Yeah, I really do. I really do. And there's so many great jokes I won't make because I'm being an adult. Well done, me. Well done, me. Right, Ziggy, as an elf player, Dan, when will you be shaving off your beard?
We gotten an hour into this show before I copped one of those. A whole hour. And the answer is when I damn well feel like it. Honestly, I'm gonna grow this bad boy and it'll be my little dead possum on my face for as long as I want. And at some point I'll probably dye it an absurd color and fill it full of glitter for charity. And then because glitter just can never be removed from a thing once it's been put in, then I may let it go. But it won't be about elves. It'll be about me.
You're telling me. I once dated a girl. That's not true. I didn't date a girl. We met in a bar and we had sex upstairs. But she was covered in glitter. And then from that point on, me and Nathan called her Glitter Dick. It was hilarious. I was like, Nathan, look, Glitter Dick's out. He was like, because I did not get the glitter off my penis for months. Like, months. Like, it's just, like... Anyway.
Good question asked by Colonel Cabbage there for those who are playing at home. If you had to date an Age of Sigmar model, who or what would you choose?
Troggoth Hag, Troggoth Princess. Sold. That's done.
That's a great choice.
Thank you so much. You can put me in her sack any day. Yeah, that's right. She could vomit on me whenever she likes.
She's got special type of glitter. You'd be taking it out of your arsehole for a month. Cool.
I'm going to go with a Mutalith Vortex Beast.
Wow.
Oh,
fuck.
Just feel like he/she would show you a great time.
Agreed.
Just you'd never be the same afterwards, but you'd learn some things about yourself, about the meaning of life. I mean, I feel like there's nothing coming back from that.
That's good. Strong and powerful. It's pretty wild. James, what about you?
There's so many.
Criminals, probably.
Yeah, I don't know what I want. Maybe a Yeti. I'm gonna have one of the Yetis.
Yeti? Is that because a bit like a female dwarf? Like
Someone's got to love the ugly fuckers. I'm gonna give my love to the ugly model.
Is that because you're covered in hair from eyebrow down, like just covered in it?
We gotta join with those that are like us, right?
Okay, Nathan, what have you gone for?
Oh, you stole mine, you bastard.
Oh, sorry. Well, we can double team her. She's a big lady. She's got lots of...
I think she will double team us. Yeah.
Okay, Troggoth Hag.
Yeah. Oh, definitely the Troggoth Hag. Yeah. Most beautiful woman.
Okay, Mac Readiness has asked a more on-brand question. Well, I don't know. I think the other one was actually pretty on-brand. Which was, what model needs an update the most?
Oh.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay.
It's a really good one.
Maybe I would like to see a new. It's an amazing kit. So probably doesn't need it the most, but I think would be the most exciting to see would be a multi-part battle mage kit, like especially Age of Sigmarified. So it's like just loads of like. And very much like the kit they have now, just, a couple of different head swaps and body swaps, or like dozens of head swaps, and it's just loads of arms with like different magical items. I think would be super fun to see. And the entire Fire Slayer range, obviously. But that's just for a different reason. Has anyone come up with anything else?
Saurus Warriors.
Oh my god, disgusting. Yeah, of course.
Saurus Knights.
Saurus Knights, no, they're great. You don't need to update them. What about the Gorger?
Oh, yeah.
Is he still a thing?
Yeah.
Even. Yeah. Has he
Is
still got War Scroll?
Is he?
Yeah, he
pretty
has.
sure
Yeah,
he does.
yes, he does. Yeah. He ambushes still and does his thing. Yeah. That fella.
Okay. What about Salamanders?
Or Saber. Quite a few, actually, of the Sabertooths. They could do with some nice new models.
Sabertooth could do
Yeah.
with some really good models. The Hunter's good. But yeah, Sabertooth would be a sweet decision. Salamanders, Marauders.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god, please.
Yeah,
Sometime
they're great.
soon.
Great the way they are.
No,
Put them out of their misery.
No. The Nurgle Sorcerer as well. Like, he's just a metal model. He's a bit fun. Oh my god, a Warlock bomb, a fucking Arch Warlock. Because it's Ikit Claw and it's in metal and it's just fucking old as shit.
Any of the ones that are in metal. Also, the Vargulf Courtier, which has been the same horrible Finecast model for ages.
Oh, yeah.
That could have a new model.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
there's so
about
many.
the guy?
That's a good question. Right, next question in the chat from Nikos. Question: Age of Sigmar or 40k? Game and narrative, because he's a little wanker. He's a little wanker because they've got to stand by what I said on Thursday. Nathan, which one for you?
Age of Sigmar, both. I don't even know the 40k narrative. It sounds sounds like Firefly can go and suck a dick.
Nathan, will you volunteer to be on a show where we explain the 40k narrative to you? Because I would be really into that show.
No, it sounds awful. Why would I want to listen to that shit?
Worldwide selling books. Perfect. Exactly what you need. Dan, what about you?
Age of Sigmar game, 40k narrative at the moment. Age of Sigmar is getting better, but what I'd say for the 40k narrative I love is how much is humanly relatable. Like when I've got stories about a Stormcast Eternal, I really struggle to relate to an 8-foot tall immortal being made out of lightning that is losing pieces of its humanity every time it's brought back to life. But I remember, for me, the ones that really grabbed me were the Eisenhorn and Ravner series and the Gaunt's Ghosts, because they were just so, like, you could relate to it and the characters were really identifiable. And that's the thing I always say is, like, for me, for story, it's the life, it's the day-to-day that really grabs me. So I'd say that is what got me into 40k for its narrative, and Age of Sigmar is now getting better at that. You're getting more free guild stories or more like really tightly relatable characters, and so that's going to do it for me.
Okay, that's fair. James, what about you?
I think so. It's AOS for a game. I think 40k for narrative, but I also think, and I know I probably shouldn't bring it up because someone will stab me on the internet, but I still think like the AOS has never managed to port across enough of the old world, because the narrative of Warhammer Fantasy was so good and had so many years, and they never. So like Thanquol came across, like we saw Gotrek come across, didn't we? And he's obviously had some really good audiobooks. I think they're like the best Sigmar lore I've heard. But they've never ported across like for any of the other champions that came across, really. So I just think 40k's just got so much more narrative, and that's why it's better. Because I also think there's a lot of turd narrative in 40k as well.
I mean, all the Nurgle stuff is basically just talking turds all day.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay. For me, what a wanker to ask this question because he knows how I feel at the minute. So narrative is probably 40k, but I'd like to. We did an entire show on this a few weeks ago, didn't we? We talked about the Age of Sigmar narrative, and this is the thing: they just don't get it. They don't get what makes people tick. They're like, people are like, what makes people tick? I'm like, look, you just have one guy and you kill his dog, and then he murders people and I don't mean to be hyperbolic about this. In my opinion, infinite films is how many John Wicks there could be. Infinite John Wicks. If they're like John Wick 37, I'm like, I'm queuing. Yeah, like I'm queuing for the last cinema on earth to go and watch that. I can't wait. Like The Expendables shouldn't be a movie. Not good. No good narrative, but you just need some badasses. You just need some badasses, and Age of Sigmar's got no badasses. He's got Gotrek, and that's why everyone loves him, because he's one badass. But, like, you're not making a badass branch wraith. Like, I need to, like, some fucking story. Do you know what I mean? I want, like, a Spirit of Durthu
But then they'd have
given-
to have good rules.
I want the Spirit of Durthu who's, like, giving up the tree life, and he, like, sits outside a tavern as a doorman, yeah? And he's just there with his, like, fuck-off sword, and he's just, like, you know, you need to make, like, his, like, line is, you need to make, like, a tree and leaf. Like, I want them to really fuck with the, like, they haven't fucked with it enough, is what I'm trying to say. And I just want some more badass story. So the 40k narrative is better. Although they've stole most of it from Attack on the Clones, just saying. And then, which is the best Star Wars movie. And then, pod racing.
Great game. Great N64 game.
Brilliant. And then Age of Sigmar 40k gameplay. Age of Sigmar is a tighter game. It's a better game generally. However, the auxiliaries thing is shit. Right? Like, compared to the secondaries you get for 40k. Now, for the secondaries for 40k, it does feel like a lot of bookkeeping, but it does the thing on the tabletop not as well as it could. They're still, like, shit enough that, like, they're like, man, you pretty much take these. But the good thing about it is that you're like, you're a bit like, oh, I'm gonna try and kill that monster, or I'm gonna run that unit into the middle to try and deploy a scrambler, and then, like, that unit being alive is, like, super important. So while I think the core game of Age of Sigmar is in the primary, which if you compare it to 40k is still better than 40k, the secondaries really elevate 40k into a better place.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the secondaries are cool because you can make your game how you want it to be, can't you, almost?
Yeah, it's not that good. Like, they're pretty rank, actually. Like,
You just said they're good!
No. Conceptually, they're good. Conceptually, they're good. To quote myself, the design space is good. Like, it's an extra... Like, a bit like the auxiliaries are good, but the auxiliaries basically mean nothing. Does that make sense? And one of the good things also about 40k is you could score 45 points for that primary, where in Age of Sigmar, it's like you win or lose based on these objectives. And that might be a fun thing to do for Age of Sigmar, where you get the same for both sort of a situation. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. It's kind of good, is what I'm trying to say. It has its own problems as well, and Age of Sigmar I still think is more fun. But that secondary bit would be fun to port in, especially as they've started to release new codexes where you're playing the game your way. So if you do you've got secondaries in your codex, that would be awesome to have in Age of Sigmar. So if you're a Fire Slayer, like one of your secondaries is just like look the same. Like, and if you're an eel,
stand still in the corner, look the same. Game 1.
Yeah. But like, you know, it would be cool, and you'd like Seraphon. Your secondary could just be, you know, have a bound bell with Vortex in your list, whatever you wanted it to be. Just something that like plays like.
Roll 6 dice in one turn from a skink. Oh, done.
All right, so that's my answer. I think I convoluted that enough to not actually pick anything, which is great. Owen has said favorite battalion in Age of Sigmar. Nathan James said that. Favorite battalion in Age of Sigmar. Ooh.
I'm
Mine.
going to go with
Oh, go on, Dan.
the Iron Sky Squadron,
Oh.
just for what it does, but also just the sheer, I don't know, movie magic of a bunch of flying boats descending and disgorging their troops. It just feels really cool.
To quote Dave Chappelle, yuck. That's what I'm going to say, yuck. But yes, it's also a very competitive thing at the minute, Dan. Like, very, very competitive. Yeah. Like, it's in loads of top lists at the minute. And it's almost... you know that they haven't been able to buy an ironclad in North America for 6 months?
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Sold out for 6 months, which is pretty nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Nathan, have you got one?
I think it's a tough one. I like the Squiggle launch just because of what it does. They're just a bunch of mad nutters chasing the moon around, and probably to follow up on that theme where you were saying different people should win different ways. I mean, they should definitely win every time they jump over the moon because that's their thing. So yeah, I'll go with the Squiggle launch. Although I quite like the battalion with all the Skitterstan spiders in, where they all pop up and then they all make each other charge faster. That's quite a cool one. But yeah, I'm going to go Squiggle launch.
Okay, that's a very cool one. James, have you got one?
So I was going to choose a silly one and just be an idiot, but I decided to be sensible. So I think the best one I've read recently is the Uralan Legion, I think it is, in Lumineth, which is the Calathar, some Sentinels, and an equal amount of Wardens. Just because I don't know why you wouldn't take it to reduce your drops and get the bonus of rerolling one to save.
It's pretty good. Owen suggests Mortex Shield Corps is a solid. I think I'm probably torn between two. One being Death Riders Battalion from the Nighthawk book. Really big fan of that. Always really liked it. Super cool. And the other one being its name eludes me, but it includes Stalkers and Morghast Harbingers in the Ossiarch Bone Reaper book. Also a really big fun build. But I forget its name right now. Specifically because you get that pre-game move, which I think is quite funky. And you never see Stalkers and you never see Harbingers. But if you really wanted to lean into that, you could lean into it with a dumb big unit of Harbingers and just 3d6 charge. That would be really fun. We've had a question in the chat. What was your stupid answer, James?
Oh, so I did reply. So Hungering Warherd, because 3 Gorgons.
Yes. Yeah, let's do it. I'd love to see that.
a 6-inch pile in, but actually you can't pile in unless you're 3 inches away because it doesn't actually change their rule. So
brilliant. Well done, G-dubs. All right, next question is from Realm R. Winters. If you could design an AOS army with any theme, what would it be? I'd do barbarians that are human destruction. Give me some snow barbs. I think snow barbarians. Okay, that's a pretty big one. What theme would it be? I think I know mine already. Oh, no, go on, Dan, after you, if you're ready.
Oh, I know mine also because it's going to fix a whole lot of problems that we've got in competitive AOS at the moment, or one problem that I find incredibly frustrating. I'd go back and I would re-release the water-based army right. No water elves, Naga. I want when you play, I don't know if you remember old school Warcraft, Reign of Chaos and all those games, and you had the fishmen, but they weren't pretty fishmen. They're also kind of cool. No, not Murlocs, the Naga. They were like messed up, half eel, half beast kind of things. That would be the sea army that I would release. I'd still have them riding eels, or I'd still have them doing all of that. But I think the thing that's always stuck in my craw for the sea elves is that I'm it's still just elves with slightly different stylized armor riding sea animals. I didn't actually get that they themselves are of the sea, are from the sea. It was just their elves and everything around them and about them is water-based. Whereas that was the thing that let me down the most. Like, you give me Naga, I'm like, these are sea warriors. This is an army that lives, eats, breathes, and has evolved in the sea. That's what I want, and that's what I would create. And if they ever do that, I'm going to drop all of my money and mortgage my entire life to build one.
Perfect. They're pretty cool. I think there was some, I can't remember which one, some MMO I played at one point where the Naga were like a fairly like competent enemy, and they were very evocative, and you could do some amazing models in that. I also think Mace, Nathan, am I right in thinking that if you got Dan's description, there's like they have some Naga-esque models, don't they? You know, like
yeah, they do. They've got some creatures from the sea. Well, they're not really riding sea animals, but they do have things that come out of the sea. I think like the Atlanteans in their game. Yeah.
Looking at it right now.
Yeah.
What do you think, James? What would you like to see?
Maybe like an army of bear people.
You've been watching
You
a bit
know,
of
like-
the Golden Compass, have you?
Oh, maybe. No, I love those books though. Do you know, like, so I have them somewhere. I think they might be in a case still. So does anyone remember? So in old Warhammer Fantasy, when they did the Allies section, there was an army that was led by a bear man that was basically ripped off from the guy from The Hobbit.
Yep.
But just like that, like some kind of almost like feral, because Beast of Chaos are kind of cool because they're, you know, like in theory, like a feral chaos army, but they're basically goats. Realistically, it's like you're either a weak goat, a middle goat, the best of goats, or a big bull.
Yep.
Whereas I think like it'd be quite cool to almost see, I don't know, like order or destruction, because you could write it in either, but almost like the world that is rebelling against all the fighting by just like evolving some animals to fight back, because I think it'd be cool. So there's all those realms, and it'd be almost cool to be like, oh, your animal race can be from any realm. So if you're painting your bears fire red, they're probably from, you know, the realm of fire, etc., etc. I think
The
it'd be
realm
cool.
of volcanoes.
Yeah, the realm of volcanoes.
Okay, that's a good
yeah, I
one.
think that.
That's a good one. So some suggestions in the chat. K-Dread wants Crocs. War Machine wants an army of dragons, small to large. TTF Chris wants a Sharky and George army. That's pretty good. Owen wants cannibalistic peasant army from Sheesh, led by an insane druid. Stuart Hastings, Baby Bear, Mama Bear, and Daddy Bear. I'd like some religious fanaticism a la Devoted of Sigmar, says Dreadwoods. So obviously people already know my answer. Nathan, I'd like to hear yours in a moment. There are two. There's my obvious answer, which I always say, which is squirrels riding hippos. It's kind of an orcs and goblin style army where hippos are the main driving force, and the squirrels are kind of the smart attendants to the powerhouses that are the hippos. I've talked about this many a time. Nathan, what's yours? But I do have a follow-up one, which I think is more evolved as a thought process. Nathan, what's your follow-up?
Well, I mean, mine are just based on stuff that we've got ready already. They've sort of hinted at, so I'd like to see them come out. Hopefully they will come out. Is the Skull Pirate, Grots Pirate. The flying grots that are pirates.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. Them fellas. And then also, I used to play with the Wolf Rider army quite a lot, and I just want to see Wolf Riders. They don't, they could be grots or they could be humans, but I just want to see, or hobbits or something, riding wolves, having a great time, kicking butt.
What if you can merge your and Rob's barbarian army, and you can have Wolf Rider barbarians, also with some sleigh chariots?
Again, Norska. I think you're describing Norska.
No, there was a bear in that. There was no dog-pulled sleighs.
No. My other army, which like is something that's been hitting on me recently, past year or so, which I'm very obsessed with, is I'd like to see a bard-based army, a musical army. I don't know how I would like. I'd like a storytelling / bard army. You know, the battle line could just be like drummers or your kind of simpler instruments to play. Obviously, bass, like just something no one gives a shit about.
Just burn all the drummers out there, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, there you go. I just got it. No
Yeah,
problem.
yep.
Triangle players.
Ding, ding. Right in the front, skirmish, a pre-game move,
Yeah.
the fucking cowbell guys. They just move forward 8 inches, they just cowbell. They've got no save, and they're just cowbelling. But I think that would be really fun. And, going to the back, you've got like some long-range shooters who are maybe some tuba players. And then in close combat, obviously, you've probably got people on spoons. But my narrative would be that the music, they use the music as a weapon, so it's like a shooting attack, like Noise Marines, or listen, if you can ride in on a turtle on the fucking sea, there's no reason I can't power in on the power of music. Maybe their melee units are dancers. You've just got some like nimble ballerinas, you've got some break dancers doing some capoeira. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm going. A bard army. You maracas.
You could write that. You could write that for your next homebrew army.
Mm.
Yeah.
The bard army.
Yeah, go with your cast dwarves.
Oh my god. Okay, fine. All right, a yodel army. Yeah, that's what I want. I just want some DJs in charge. Thanks everyone, you get it. I think that would be the right one. Just some story. That's what I want. And also just bring some music to because Nathan, remember when I went to Adepticon and I brought my Bluetooth speaker, and every time I made a unit unable to move because of the mask of Slanesh at that time, I would play CNC Factory's "Everybody Dance Now," bum bum bum, every time. Every time.
Oh god, I'm sure no one got tired of that either, which I think is awesome.
They're Americans. Listen, they literally don't have degrees or a thought in their head.
Wow.
Holy shit. We came in here really spicy with that one.
It just all floated. Oh, well.
It's not. I don't think that. I don't really think that.
Oh
50%.
no, definitely not. It definitely came
80%.
out far too easily, though. There's something that you don't think just really slipped out there, didn't it?
Some of the smartest people I know are American who've moved away from the place. So the next question in the chat is, let's go find the next question. Nathan, we did yours, so that's fine. If all of the competitive side of AOS will keep growing, what do you think about sponsored players, like to a level of branded models, like Red Bull coloured Stormcasts or Domino Skaven? Oh my god, yes. Anyone got any thoughts on that?
I'm about it.
Yeah, sounds hilariously fun. Yeah, let's do it.
Who's painting the army though?
Yeah,
A Red Bull painting the army?
Yeah, I'm gonna email them tomorrow. I'm like, Red Bull, paint my army.
And everyone will know. They'll send you with a can of caffeine too. That'll be good for you.
Can I have a caffeine-free Red Bull?
Sure,
please?
you'll be healthy after that.
Jolly Green Giant Gargant army. Perfect. Perfect.
It's gone all over the place.
I like the idea that there's people at home I am going to paint my army like a brand and see if I can get some free shit. That's clever. If there's anyone, loads of people want to sponsor stuff. Maybe you could do a Carriage and Overlords army, but you could just paint it up like it's a Ferrari car. Just do red, stick some Ferrari stuff all over it.
We'd be buying it. That'd be about it. I could see that.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm sold.
Stuart Hastings says, genuinely think a company would pay for an army to be commission painted. What a great idea. I agree. I love the idea of Courage and Overlord's army now with the side of their boat spray painted Coca-Cola or
I also like the idea that if someone actually emails Craig,
Amazon delivery.
Yeah. Hermes.
the amount it costs to commission paint an army, where it'd be all be like, oh, that's a lot of money. Amazon would be like, didn't even notice.
Who would? So previously, obviously, Swift Dog Agents would have been the perfect Amazon sponsored army.
yeah, damn,
Yeah.
that's a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, that is I mean, we've really only connected these dots right now, so we have missed that boat, sadly. P&O Cruises, they could do Carriage and Overlords. You could get some cruise company to do KO. I don't know what other like brands you could get. It's a great one. Stormcast, probably get them sponsored by, I don't know, what's like dry white bread. Like, is that a thing?
How about Fire Slayers do Tabasco?
Oh, yes. Oh, you know the guy that does the hot sauce videos on YouTube where he does the interviews and you eat the hot sauce?
Yeah.
Like, he needs a Fire Slayer army like stat.
Maybe he could do you a Fire Slayer army, and then you could be on the show eating hot sauce. There you go, fair trade.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm into it. Nando's could sponsor Fire Slayers. Nando's could also sponsor Siege with all the flamers, right? Flaming hot grilled chicken. You have a Lord of Change in there. That works really well. Sinesh, sponsored by Durex. That works. Nurgle sponsored by like Kleenex or something. Just be like, block the germs, or maybe some sort of PPE company, or something sensible in these tough times when it comes to disease. So not funny to joke about, but I don't know.
Purell.
Huh?
Purell. Get that's sponsored by like a disinfectant company.
Yeah, exactly. What about Corn sponsored?
Plasters.
Sponsored by like Ritalin or something.
No,
so like
plasters. Stop the blood. All the blood. Stop the blood.
Plasters. How would you paint them? How would you paint them plasters?
You just stick band-aids over all of them.
I'm thinking, what's his name? Is it Mickey Rourke's character in Sin City? He's covered in band-aids.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's good.
Sorted.
Yeah. Monster Munch Gargants. This is honestly the best idea we've maybe ever had. Dan, try and get one of your army. I might try. What can I paint that already looks shit? So I can just
No. You don't need to paint it. They're going to pay for someone to paint it for you. That's the point, right?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, probably.
They're going to pay that guy that everyone pays. Angel, what's his face?
Chris Angel Mind Freak? I don't think he's much of an artist.
Angel Giraz, is it? Giraz? He doesn't paint any GW stuff hardly, but every time I see any other game, it's like, painted by this guy. I'm like, where did he come from? He paints everything.
What about Calvin Klein, Gargant sponsored by Calvin Klein?
Yeah.
Just get some fucking sweet-ass pants on them.
Pants.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. If anyone's got any other ideas in the chat, please let us know. Sanitary Project Company sponsoring Corn. Wow. Imagine that. Imagine the lady who's doing the roller. She's doing the rollerblading, and then she's playing tennis, and then next scene in the advert, she's playing Corn on the tabletop. She's like, "When you've got 8 blood tithe points, nothing is better." Yeah. The body form for you.
Far.
Oh, did we? That's a natural human thing. That's completely fine.
But I'm not sure it's the same thing Corn's after, right?
Corn cares not from whence the blood flows.
Oh, so boring.
I could show you a picture that would make you agree that neither do I. Nathan, if you remember. Anyway,
TMI.
Next question in the chat. I think we all answered that, right? Didn't we? And also thank you to the Dreadwoods for subscribing. Loads of love to them. Oh, you paint it. Toyota pays you. Oh, that's nice. A Toyota car would be fun. We'll wait for some questions in the chat. Next question coming up. Ooh, it's been fun. It's been really fun. No one's asked any personal questions, which has been good. You've been safe, James. You've been safe.
Answering personal questions. I'm not that guinea pig.
No, I said you're safe. Don't worry. They've not asked any. Right, that's because I know you're worried about them. You always get worried at the start. Like you're like, if they ask me any personal questions, I'm quite worried. Like you say that a lot. So I'm glad. I'm glad no one has yet done that. That's good.
Like what sort of questions do you...
I might just sit here and eat some pizza.
What's James's blood type? James, what's your blood type?
I am a rhesus negative.
You're a Reese's Pieces negative.
You're made
Is that
of
like being
chocolate.
allergic to peanuts?
Something like that. I used to donate blood every month.
Oh,
So I send you a little, this is what you are.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. Jason D. Fluffer, thanks for subscribing. Oh my god, Jason D. Fluffer, the star. He's great. If your co-host was a character in Age of Sigmar, who would they be and why? Thank you to the Wargamer Dad for the question. Ooh, okay.
He's answering.
We all need a bit of time to think about it, I think.
Oh, no, I can do Nathan. Nathan's a Gargant. Done.
Done. Okay.
I think Nathan is that Slanesh lady playing the dude like a harp, because that's how he plucks at my heartstrings. So I feel like it's only appropriate.
Absolutely, that is fucking really good. That is a really good one. Nathan is, if Nathan had to be anything in my mind, he is. Oh, great question. Is he the Master of Slanesh? Like, is he the Changeling? Is he a Mega Boss? Mega Boss. Do you know what?
Boss, that's got a changeling and a mask.
I am going to go for Nathan is a war chanter. That's what I'm going for, right? He's a war chanter because he's always there backing you up. He's just like, I got you, buddy. And he's just like, and then he's like, you guys are fighting. I'm here for this. I am fucking here for this. He's just like beating the drum. He's just like, you go, lads. Whenever he's around, you're twice as good as you were before. Fucking war chanter. That's what I'm going for. Yeah. Just like bigging it up all day. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll take that. Yeah.
What about James? What about lovely James? Sensitive, lovely James.
I don't want to know where this is going.
What about lovely James? Maybe a witch, maybe a hag from Daughters of Cain.
What? What's the reason for that?
Well, he's just, again, really supportive. Great support piece in the game. Like, very great legs, you know. Very great legs. Obsessed with blood. But probably not that. Like, I'm just saying maybe. Maybe a Yeti. Maybe a Yeti. You know, ice-cold exterior, warm inner heart, covered in fur, and constantly hiding from Dayton in the mountains.
Hiding from
I
the
haven't
mountains.
listened to that show yet, and people keep bringing it up in the chat.
Anyone else know what James might be?
I'm going to go for members of the Gobbapalooza. So I'm going to say James is the Brugit. He's like the merch grot. He's the guy that's supplying all the gear. So yeah, he's the Brugit.
Okay.
For me, James is a Shadowblade assassin because just when I've forgotten about him, he jumps out and he gets another low blow in there and just stabs me in the kidneys.
Take that, elf lover. Bang!
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know. I like. There's so many options. James is just such a varied person. Like, what about a butcher? That kind of works. Just like stewing your big moor pot. That's really fun. But Nate's probably right. Based on like size, probably a Gobbapalooza is like the right decision. You know, like. But ultimately, if we're going small and we're going furry, you know where we're going. We're going Skaven. Yeah, and
I'm in.
Yeah, I feel like you're a Warlock Bombardier. You're ready to fire your red rocket at any opportunity. That's you.
Any day of the week.
This was the question that really kept on giving, wasn't it?
It's pretty good. What about Dan? Oh my god. What about
Teclis.
Dan? Teclis.
Got the jazzy clothes. He loves elves. He probably stranded his poor sea children because he hates them. Done.
Dan, is it true that that's why you left Australia? Because of the sea children that you'd abandoned?
I abandoned them mid-flight over the sea, so it's about the same thing.
Wow.
That's what happens when you flush in an aeroplane, right? It just goes out to sea.
Seaman.
Yeah.
over the ocean.
I'm also going to say that Dan is a Luminous Realm Lord, but I'm going for the Calathar, because he emotional support piece for his own people, deadly to the enemy, but like if ever anyone could pull off a shawl like that, it's gonna be Dan. Let's be honest, it's absolutely gonna be Dan. Yeah. Nathan, what are you making Dan out to be?
So, which member of the Gobbapalooza is Dan? I'm gonna go for Scaremonger. So, the guy with the Frazzlegate face on, running around, egging people on, carried by another little fella on his shoulders. Lovely mask, a bony tail for some reason, but yeah, great. Scaremonger. It's all them bones.
That works, and thankfully we're done now, and we don't need to do any more, which is great.
Except for Rob.
Yeah, except for...
Okay, you guys are in charge for a moment. Help yourselves.
I'm gonna say you're a Slan, because you invented this army and you just pretty much make up your own reality within it.
Strong. Also fairly fat.
No, you know actually what you are, Rob. You are the Dark Oath War Queen and War Chieftain combined, because you've literally created a tournament pit where everybody competes for your attention and praise and success. You're literally the War Master, just standing over being like, yes, ban each other a certain number of things to make it really difficult, and now fight for my glory, children.
I like that. That sounds great. Yeah. Also, I'm not wearing all my clothes, so I'm also doubling. Like, excellent. Nate?
So I've got to stick with the Gobbapalooza now, because that's what I said I was doing. It's a tough one. I'm going to go for the Shroomancer, because he's a cool-looking model. But also, he's off his tits. Just of eating a mushroom. I mean, it's nearly like a cup of coffee, but it's like the same thing. So yeah, the Shroomancer, Rob in Canada, fucked up.
That's perfect.
Stuff. Yeah.
Like when people ask me to describe myself, I might change my Tinder bio to that. Off my tits.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Totally out of his skull most of the time.
Perfect. James, what about you?
So I've had a long thought while everyone else is talking, and having seen your DIY earlier, I've decided you're a Lord Ordinator, a craftsman of the realms.
Yeah.
I am a craftsman of the realms. Absolutely.
But all you use is 2 hammers. There's no finesse. You just smash things.
Again, what would you use to fill a hole in a window?
You could have said he was a tide caster with the amount of foam he put into those guys.
Oh my god. Anyway, fine.
This is the question that really kept on giving.
It was good. Slan powered by Frazzles. I'd just like you to know that the local corner shop has got multi-bags of Frazzles in now, which they previously didn't stock. I assume it's because of the significant uptick in Frazzle purchases that they've seen recently by me. Excellent. Although I've had to stop eating them because I think it's not necessarily gelling with everything internally at the moment. There's something wrong. I was just going to say. It's just not...
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do Horticulus Slimmux.
What's next?
Yeah.
All right, other questions in the chat coming in. There's been some great questions. Thanks, chat. I've enjoyed this. This has been really fun. A bunch. It's been very fun. Very, very fun. Dan, it's really, considering when we first met you, and everything, I picture you like this loud, powerful orator, that should be sat with a tankard. Previously my image of you was on wooden benches, tankard in hand, regaling people with stories and grudges that you hold. But now you're on a velvet seat, wearing holding like a martini, like like a port, and like wearing like velvet or like I don't know, silk, like dressing gowns, and like just be like, yeah, don't let the poor people in. Like, is how now like. Is the difference between a dwarf and an elf in my mind, and it's...
Oh God Almighty, we got heavy there. So I'm no longer a man of the people.
That's not that. I'm not saying that. It's just you kind of like I picture Chris in the chat. Like I know Chris who's in the chat is a chippy, so he's a carpenter. Like I know he's also like 1 billion feet tall. And I picture him as like a long-legged tree man, like doing like I know that's weird, he's a carpenter, but like sometimes you just think the people in the army kind of go together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like in Spink and Bone Splitters, you just kind of...
So what you're saying is I've changed to fit the Lumineth. I didn't incorporate the Lumineth into myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying. You changed.
Changed. What happened to you? You used to be cool.
You've changed.
Okay, question. Favorite little pet creature in AOS? Nurgling. Obviously, sassy Nurgling all day. Done.
It's got to be the Spore Squig. The little Spore Squig that the Fungoid has got. He's cool. Although, actually, the snail on the Mangler base is cool too. The little squigs. They're cool.
I'm going to go the Jabbertoad that Mollog throws at you. Because the face on that model is just like, oh, but then I love that it's useless in the game, right? But then if it actually does hit you and you're at -1 for the rest of the game because you got hit by a stink toad, like for me, I'm just like, that's amazing. So yeah, I'm going the Jabbertoad.
Yeah, it's great.
I think mine would be the snakes from Warcry, but specifically in Warcry.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever fought or used that army, but the snakes are insane. So they're paper, and if they get hit, they die. But if they fight, and you get to roll like 6 dice, and on a 6, they do 4 flat damage. They're amazing. Love those snakes.
Okay. All right. Johan the Villager is the best part, apparently. Always been a big fan of Johan.
I'd support that.
Yeah, I support that. Okay, my question to the panel, that's what you are now, is favourite endless spell and why? Favourite endless spell and why?
I'm going to go... I will go for the Malevolent Moon.
I fucking hate that spell so much.
And that's why.
Oh my god. By the way, I don't know if you know this, you -1 to hit and -1 to cast. Thanks, Nate. Now you -2 to cast. Cheers, Nate. Appreciate that, thanks. Okay. Malevolent Moon. James, what about you?
I think my favourite spell has to be the mirror, the Slanesh mirror.
Oh, okay.
Because I've used it, it's a cool looking model, but also I think like its rules are quite interesting. And even though I did once play a game with it against someone who was playing Squigs and explain the rule every turn, that he had to walk away from it and out of the bubble to not kill his Mangler Squig. He spent the entire game walking backwards and forwards till it killed his Mangler Squig without it doing anything else.
That's the right way to play it if you've got a Mangler Squig. Yeah.
Dan, what about
He was
you?
just like a budgerigar. Every now and then he just wanted to glance back and be like, yeah, who's a pretty boy then? Then he would stepped out and then he'd be like, wait a sec. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do look really good. And then be like, wait, oh no, yeah, good. Okay. Do I have something in my teeth? I'm gonna go with the Taurus. Just because I dig the way the model looks. I like that it also hits you so hard. It hits you and then you're like, I forgot to fight until later. I was too busy being gored by the running of the bulls. I really want to see someone convert one with a man wearing like all white and a scarf being like tossed into the air just above it. That would be my happy place.
That would look great. That'd be so good. And then a whole Spanish army behind it. Yeah. Is that a reference to the Beastmen looking like Spanish people?
Well, no, the running of the bulls. It being a bull, I
Whew.
was throwing
Glad
no
you-
shade on
Yeah.
an entire group of people.
Yeah, I was like, careful, Dan. You don't want to do that. Like, what if there's Americans here about it? Fucking hell. Anyway. Mine would be the best sentinel spell, unarguably. I'm doing a Vince on you there. The Black One, the Soul Seeker, the Bringy Dingy.
The Bringy Dingy.
The fucking Boat of Peace. A hilarious spell. Like, it's just a group of lads get in. Someone has to die. I find that hilarious. I find that someone has to die is hilarious. Like, no one's ever done it. Like, I took it to an event where I would put Storm Fiends in it and just kill a Storm Fiend. Like, and people were like, oh no, I wasn't expecting that at all. And I was like, yeah, fucking 11 out of 10 smarts. But yeah, the Storm. It's a great spell, and it's so shit as well. It looks awful. Have you looked at it, like, in detail ever?
Yeah, I have. That's why I converted a different one for myself.
It looks fucking terrible. It's like I could do
what
that.
It looks like now. You can't buy it anymore, can you?
You can. It's in Forbidden Power,
It's the
but it's
boss.
still available for purchase. I'm pretty sick, I reckon.
Yes.
Zeitguy's got some good points in the chat. Warp Vortex brought to you by Domino's Pizzas, because rats like triangles.
Ooh, I like that.
That's just very clever. That's my favourite. Okay, so what's your favourite non-endless spell? Just your favourite spell? Favourite spell? No, actually, mix that up. Favourite ability for any unit in the game? I'm asking the questions now. Screw you, Twitch chat. Favourite ability in all of the game, and why?
We could let Nathan go first, because if it's not what I think it is, I'm rage quitting.
It's when you're playing with a gargant, you just pick the model up and stick it in your pants.
There it is.
Hey!
It's a great ability, that is.
That is a good ability. I suppose we have to go for current ones that still exist, not the fun rules that they once were, which is sad face. I'm going to go for what's my favourite ability? That is a good question. Have you guys got one? Maybe. Any thoughts?
I do.
What
Just
is it?
because I love it. I love choosing a big name for your tyrant when it goes down. And
Oh, that is
it's so simple, but for me, like, I put my tyrant down and I'm like, oh, his last name is whatever, Longstrider or something like that, because he's a big walker. He's like a like when you see those people who exercise by walking around a shopping center because they don't like being outside. That's him. Or like he's better when he charges or whatnot. I really dig that. For me is that I'm looking back on them fondly right now, and that for me is just the big one, because I don't know. It's something like every time you put him down, there's a rule that creates character. It's a cool rule too. You can make him really versatile, but I dig it.
Yeah, okay, that's really, really good. Really, really good. I had mine. Shit.
I'd like to say also a couple of high.
Oh, we lost you, Nate, for a second. But don't worry, we'll get you back. I imagine it's going to be great. We'll just wait for it. James, any thoughts? Well,
I'm going to take it, so I reckon I can beat Nathan to it. And just because we talk about it every week, the mightiest of rules and the strongest of nets.
oh, for God's sakes. Nathan, we missed all yours, unfortunately. We missed
Never
what did
the
you say?
nets.
Never the nets.
Never the nets. Oh yeah, netters are great. They make you -1 to hit, so that's fantastic.
Hey, Robbie, you are way
The-
-1 to hit.
No, I think Scragrot the Loon King has got a couple of great abilities. His spell is fantastic. Just nicking somebody's magic artifact. It's great. Really, really, really fun one to use. Because, just when it happens, when you steal that Warpseer's Lucky Stone or whatever the hell it is and all of that sort of stuff, it's great. And then his other thing is obviously shooting people with his sniper
Oh,
Jesus.
gun, and then they keep dying for the rest of the game. It's fantastic. Having killed Archeon with that mushroom growing out the back of his head. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful thing to happen. So, yeah.
That is a super cool thing. I really like Vile of the Fulminator. I really like that. and which is the thing that makes Doom wheels go faster, faster, which is obviously brilliant. I just think that's just an exceptional rule. And people aren't going to like this, but I'm going to say anyway, I like watching the pink horrors explode. Like, it's what made me want to collect the army. Like, I like it. Like, it's fun. It's like, whoop, and they're like, there's 2 of us now, dickhead. And you're like, whoop, you're like, I'm fire! Like, I'm fire! You're like, oh, that's cool, you're fire! Like, ah! Like, it's cool. Like, it's weird. Like, it's super fun. Like, it's demonic. I like it. I just think it's really funny. In my head, when someone kills them, they're like, pop, 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 pop.
Like
I think
popcorn.
What?
Like popcorn.
Yeah, exactly like popcorn.
Maybe you should have like a little thing to make that noise as they explode.
Or just like one of them, you know, like them clickers that you have, like.
Oh, do you remember those bangers you used to get when you were a kid? It's like a little piece of paper and you chuck it at the floor. Maybe every time one pops, you should just throw one at your
Pop,
just really rub it in. Pop, 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 pop. And then like, I've killed 20 and you're like, cool, I'm going to have a good time.
Pop, 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 pop. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This show has got a bit weirder. Have we done
The
everyone?
speed with which that would get frustrating.
For me, not at all. Don't forget,
Yeah.
don't forget, I went to an event with 6 Marauders and a bunch of musical instruments to play at the table every single round. I was like, blow the trumpets!
Blow the vuvuzela.
Yeah.
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 Fun.
Yeah. And that went pretty badly after a while, I think. But that's why I want the Bard army, because I could bring it back. A big shout out to Tom in the chat. Love you. Has everyone done theirs? Dan, have you done yours? Yeah, you've done yours. We've all done ours. Okay, there was a really good question. Favorite realm? Favorite realm in Age of Sigmar? Mine is the Realm of Fire, because I picture it to be only volcanoes. I don't care what the narrative is at this stage. In my mind, it's only volcanoes. Nothing else. Volcanoes only. That's it. Fire. Realm of Fire. But actually, probably Realm of Life. But Realm of Fire.
No, you've got to choose one.
I've done it. I've chosen Fire for the jokes. It's fine.
Just checking.
Yeah. What's yours,
I'm looking forward to the Realm of Shadow. Really.
Yeah.
I enjoy the way that they've developed all of them. But yeah, the Realm of Shadow. Originally, that's where my Moon Clan goblins came from, because obviously they enjoy hiding in the shadows, and there's no sun there, so they have a great time stabbing those weird elves over there in the back.
Did you play the Rasmus in the shadows while painting them, like on repeat?
No.
Thanks, James.
No, I don't
Thanks,
do
James.
that.
Okay,
Anytime.
good.
Beasts for me. I dig.
Beasts. Why?
Yeah. I dig all the cool stuff that goes on. And then, like, you've got entire cities on the backs of worms. And once a year, the free cities there have to go on big, like, wars into under the worm's plates to kill all the Skaven that are still living in the blood and the muscle of the worm. You've just got so many different critters and different landscapes. I just think Realm of Beasts for me. You got gigantic sky shark god beasts.
Just reminds you of Australia, doesn't it?
Basically, it's home. Yeah, it's home. We like Australia. You know that thing about the world being on the back of a turtle flying through space? That's actually just my country. And so, yeah, that's why I'm going to go with beasts. The Realm of Beasts is Australia. That actually feels very appropriate.
Very, very appropriate, I think. Okay, all right, that's good. That's good. I think we've done a fair few questions today. I think we can call it a day, unless either of the three, unless any of the 3 show hosts have got a question for the show, like anything that you'd like to ask of your fellow co-hosts that you've never been able to ask. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to break through a barrier. This is your, like, throw one of us under the bus. Any? Are you not taking it? Like,
yeah.
You know. Okay. Do you guys have questions?
I feel like it's too obvious. I feel like it's too like now when it's offered, it's too easy. But when they come up, that's when it's fun. I feel like when you offer James, do you want to kick Dan in the gonads about elves? It's like, oh no, not if I have to, like, not if you're gonna give it to me. I want to work for it. You know?
Yes, gotta work for it. Otherwise, where's the fun?
Yeah. Oh, we meant to. So someone suggested that we ask the chat a question. Ask the chat a question, and also someone's redeemed some push-up money. Which is some push-up tokens. I'll do a dance. Nathan, is there anything you'd like to ask the Twitch chat? Something appropriate, something inappropriate? What do you think? Maybe.
What the hell's wrong with them? Why are they watching us?
Oh my God.
That is a great
There's
question.
not a lot of room in this little place for push-ups. I just want everyone to know.
Where's Dan going?
I have a question. Yeah, it's a great question Nate brought up. Why do you watch the show? That would be good. That would be a good thing. Like, what is it that you like? What is it we could do more of? Let us know in the Twitch chat now, but also you could let us know on Twitter. If you listen to the podcast, you can let us know in reviews. Lockdown. I'm watching it because of lockdown. Okay. I had nothing else to do. I watched to mock you. You guys make me laugh. Oh, that's nice. I lost a bet. I only honestly watch Monday shows. Wow. We watch for the sick bants and give pleasant structure to lockdown life. Oh, that's nice. Because I hate AOS, says K-Thread. That's big old community. I watch for the friends we make along the way. That is always nice. Thanks to Dan. Since I don't play miniature games anymore, it's just to be your personalities. Oh, Guernsey.
Wow.
That's fucking dark that these are the 4 best personalities you could find.
The whole internet, and you've sat here.
Oh, okay. Queeks, it's good background noise for painting. Oh, that's nice. I actually binned the gym off to watch the whole show. Oh, that's nice.
You lazy bastard. Get out there. You do the press-ups this time.
All right. And then I miss community, and some of my favourite community members of real life are here. Okay, I watched for the pants. Good. And Final Cookie says it's a good way to connect to the large community, and you're a bunch of funny dudes. Ah.
That's awesome.
Okay. And Didrin says there are less. Go on.
I was just going to say we should all, like, in regards to the pants, we should all remember that James has committed to creating stuff it in the pants. He said he could definitely 100% do it. I heard him say that. Did you 2 others hear him say that?
Yeah,
Chad,
Scrivo,
you heard him say that, right?
Yes. Scrivo, when you put this up as a podcast, can you put the show title as Age of Sigmar Mondays, our announcement of upcoming Honest Wargamer Pants show? That's what the title is. And we'll all tweet about it.
Undergarment line is announced.
Oh my God. Undergargants. They're gargants. They're gargants who live inside gargants' pants. Little gargants in a gargant's pants. Undergargants. There we go. I'm really happy about that.
Undergargants. Come on. What?
Undercarriage, undergargants for undercarriage. Gosh, there's something there. There's something there. James, I'm so glad that you've committed to this.
So undergargants for undergargants in under apartments. What? I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Right. Have you guys got any shout outs before we head out for the day?
Just shout out to James. This is obviously a big thing that he's taken on, but I'm stoked for him and for us. And I love that he's just straight up into it. He said he's not going to make any excuses. There's not going to be any delays. He's just going to make it happen almost immediately. And I think I wouldn't feel confident making that promise. I'd probably temper people's expectations, but no, he said he wants people's expectations incredibly high, and I can't help but think what a wonderful attitude. So I'm excited to see what he comes back with us by next week.
Definitely shout out James and our new Undergargant empire. I look forward to seeing the fruits of your labor, sir. Are you going to model them for us, Rob?
Oh baby, am I? Listen, James, if you make them, I will do an entire only pants catalogue. Like I will do in forests. I would find a fjord. There's probably none nearby. Like cafes, everything. I'll do the whole fucking shebang. Yeah, it's like, and we could use all the money raised to buy one poor child, one gargant. So I'm into it. All right. Well, good. I also would like to shout out James for deciding to help us produce the Honest Wargamewear. I saw that in the chat.
That's going to be the first segment of every show from now on, is it? They're going to be the UnderGargant update from James.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Only pants, only fans. I would like it, Nathan. This is going to be your time to set up an OnlyFans where you just show things that you've put in the Gargant's pants. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How many calendars have you looked at? Forest, fjords, and cafes. Get very specific.
It's true.
Okay. All right. We need to go. Everyone, it's been a pleasure listening, talking to you three.
It's going bad. Yeah.
You three are great people. Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you for supporting Honest Wargamer. Tune in for some actual review of some Age of Sigmar stuff next week. And, of course, don't forget that band show for the Super Series is on next week as well, next Monday. So that'll be very exciting. You can listen to that 6 p.m. BST, see two teams battling it out to band stuff. Also, don't forget to join us tomorrow for Stream Street Day 200. That's it. We've got him in the can. Yeah, got him in the can. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you to my show hosts. Everyone's been great. And see you guys soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Yeah.